Well, apparently Disney has pulled my show off air indefinitely, probably because I'm a human garbage woke piece of shit that deserves it. Oh, and also I should go fuck myself. Democrats are a bunch of losers, and most of them, if not all of them, are retarded. Oh, and Trump will run and win again in 2028, and there is nothing we can do about it. So anyway, fuck me and all the libtards. Thank you.
Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at...
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of the 199 Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Thursday. And as we are going live, this just happened right here. U.S. Senate confirms 48 of Trump's nominees all at once. What?
On this vote, the yeas are 51 and the nays are 47, and the nominations on block are confirmed. Thank you.
I saw this from Tim Pool. Tim Pool's like, holy F, what? I was like, what is happening right now? No more Fs given. And this is the attitude. This is the attitude it's going to take to defeat the left-wing lunatics. This is absolutely amazing. Wow. I was not prepared to talk about this. I had a lot to talk about because, as every day is in the world of Trump, there's always something to talk about. There's multiple things to talk about. So anyway, there you have it. I just titled the stream so you can see that just happened. And listen, man, there's been a lot of left-wing meltdowns since Donald Trump got into the political world in 2016. I'm trying to figure out if this is the biggest meltdown we've ever seen. I'm trying, like, I don't want to be prisoner of the moment or anything like that, but man, it seems like we could be dealing with the biggest meltdown we've ever seen from the left. They're now boycotting Disney. You've got directors and writers and producers saying they're going to boycott Disney. Like right here, Damon Lindelof says he pledges not to work with Disney until Jimmy Kimmel's suspension is lifted. Like, okay. Sure. I'm sure that will hurt. I'm sure it's going to hurt everyone. By the way, Kate, I went live early because of you. So Kate, for a $50 super chat, says Major IDOT come out and play R.I.P. Asmongold's dad. Rest in peace to Asmongold's dad. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Since Trump is in the thumbnail, does that mean we get the Trump outro? It's been a while. Hope your throat is up to the challenge. There's a lot of different ways that can be memed on me, and I'm sure you already knew that. But you know what? We'll get the Sabaton outro today, okay? Just for you. Z Herbs and Spices says, for the 199, we are IDOTs. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And also drops 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Z Herbs and Spices. Magatron says, I only have one thing to say to Jimmy Kimmel, Vince McMahon voice. Jimmy, you're fired. You're fired. I can barely do it. Z Herbs and Spices says, I figured out why Jeremy is such a terrible streamer. He hasn't started a coffee company yet. Not yet, and I probably won't do it, unfortunately. I can't be like all the other streamers, unfortunately. Muted 199. Are we muted? I'm looking. No. I knew we weren't. Lord Voldemort says, I'll give you 20 get to memberships if you bring it back to F-bombs. It's not CobraCast without cussing. Have I figured out a way to grift cuss words now? I tell you, I don't actively think about these things, but the fact that I can grift cuss words, I mean, that's not bad. That's not a bad grift. Jacob says people need to watch George Carlin about American education from 2008. George Carlin is the GOAT, and I wish he was still here today. Hail George Carlin. Mike Noss says Tim Pool's overrated. Watch CobraCast. Hail 199. Piano Dean says, question, how are a bunch of folks with no gainful employment or money on their own to spend going to effectively boycott anything? Good luck with that. Exactly. So if you're just tuning in, this just happened as I was going live. So the Senate confirms 48 of Trump's nominees all at once, 51 to 47. I was not prepared for that. I just, I just flipped on Twitter, opened up Twitter on my phone, and there it was. I'm like, what? What is happening right now? Here it is right here. So Leader Thune has invoked the nuclear option. Keep pushing. They must all be confirmed.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 47, and the nominations on block are confirmed.
On this vote, the yeas are 51 and the nays are 47, and the nominations on block are confirmed.
I like how he laughed when she told him that. It was almost like he knew the meltdown was going to follow.
And the nays are 47. So the yeas are 51 and the nays are 47.
Right here. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know what else is amazing? Brock just dropped 50 gifted memberships. 50 gifted memberships. And first of all, we celebrate with F5s in the chat and Anna Paulina Luna in a MAGA bathing suit. The best celebration you could celebrate with right there. There's no other way to celebrate. It's the greatest celebration of all time. Thank you, Brock, for the 50 gifted memberships and the F5s in the chat. NDI says, what's the matter with all the crazy, what in the mother of all the craziest things the left has ever said in 2016? What is the mother of all the craziest things? What type of sentence is this? What is the mother of all craziest things the left has ever said since 2016? Could you just not have said, what's the craziest thing the left has said since 2016? Like, I'm already retarded. Like, do you understand? Like, I'm already retarded. You're just making this more difficult on me. Like last night. Right here. This was Danky clipped this out. So this was me last night because somebody said that I'm making a fool of myself. You can't make a fool look like a fool. I'm already retarded. Good luck. You. But NDI did a pretty good job of that just then. So whatever you think of that. But what's the craziest thing? He says, I think it's a blackface of white supremacy to Thomas Sowell, I think. No, it was that was the blackface of white supremacy was he ran for California governor. What was his name? Larry Elder. I think it was Larry Elder. Yes, Larry Elder. That's who they said the blackface of white supremacy was. I think that the craziest thing that I think I saw was that I'm trying to remember this one in particular, but there was a headline from a left-wing website, and it said, I hope I get this correct. Straight black men are the white people of black people. I think that's what it was. It was straight white or straight black men are the white people of black people. I remember that headline right there. Yeah, that was their whole thing is like St. Michael says, oh, OMG, I remember that one. Yeah, a lot of people remember that one. Those straight black men are the white people of black people. That's amazing. Epic neck for $1. Thank you. Andrew CR says, F. See there? I know how to get around your tricks. I know how to do that. Tommy says a gay joke about your sore throat. Guy the Guardian says, hope you're feeling better. Fig, also hope to visit Florida next year. Hail the 199. Florida is the best. You can't beat it. It's awesome. It's the best state in the world, in my humble opinion. Now we did get in, look, I mean, this just happened, this breaking news. That's why I titled the stream this way. So, I was not fully prepared for that at all. But we have had a lot of news today that we're going to try to go over and break down. The left's meltdown over Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to talk about that. I have to bring this up because I've talked about it so much, but, listen, people don't have to like what I say, but the bottom line is, I'm just always going to be as honest as I possibly can. And, as I told, people when this story was happening, this nonsensical narrative and the fact that I have to defend Ben Shapiro drives me crazy because I don't like Ben Shapiro at all. But you had really stupid people running with this narrative that Ben Shapiro was going to take over Turning Point USA. Ben Shapiro was going to take a blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Erica Kirk has been selected as the CEO and chair of the board for Turning Point USA. Wow. I was told by very reliable people that Ben Shapiro was going to take over Turning Point USA after Ben Shapiro had Charlie Kirk murdered. Good Lord, man. Like, these people have lost the plot completely. And again, I will repeat what I've consistently said about the anti-Israel crowd out there. You are all retarded. You're all the most deranged. You are literally leftist. That's what you are. The way that the anti-Israel crowd operates, you operate like leftists. because it's just like this. Okay. Leftists seem to think that racism is running rampant all over this country. Leftists will tell you racism is everywhere. Racism is all over the country. Everybody's racist and we have a racist country and everything's racist. And you go, okay. Now, the way leftists operate is that when they find a racist person, that confirms their delusions. So the reality of the situation is, are there racist people in the United States of America? Yes. Is racism running rampant through our country? No. But the left will cling on to one little thing of racism and build a huge narrative out of it and pretend that that's the whole problem. That's literally the same thing that the anti-Israel crowd does. I think, is there a lot of problems with Israel? Absolutely. Is everything Israel's fault? Is every problem in your life Israel's fault? No, but they will find one little thing that they can point to, and then they'll blow it way out of proportion to pretend that they are right. And it's to the point where someone else that I don't like, Dave Smith, has even had to address this. When Dave Smith is calling you out, you know you've lost the plot.
Just try to stay away from that bad force. And I should say, one more thing that I just, because I, of whatever, I don't even want to get into the politics of any of it, but I did see, Ian Carroll, and I'm not trying to personally blast him or anything like that. I'm not starting any feuds or nothing like that. I've said nice things about Ian in the past. I know he's said nice things about me, but I see him out there and I've seen a bunch of other people doing this, but it's just if you want to go look through it, I mean, it's just crazy. But he had this post about how Israel did this. Israel just murdered Charlie Kirk. And you know me, I don't know. I'm biggest fan of Israel, but I literally just replied and I went, what evidence do we have that Israel was involved with this at all? And I mean, man, if you want to be disturbed, go look through the replies to that. It is unbelievable how people put together theory. They're like, what evidence do you have? By the way, the answer is none. We have absolutely no evidence. There's absolutely no reason to even suspect that is the case, let alone to determine that it's a fact. And all the things people are posing, it's just guys, Jesus Christ, man, I'm sorry. I just don't go for sloppy, kooky theories. If you got some evidence, bring it to me and I'll be the first one to look into it. But then people going he was waking up to Israel. Dude, he said release the Epstein files. And he once on an interview said the pro-Israel people are getting a little too crazy when they're accusing even me of being anti-Israel, but that's about it. And to his credit, he defended having me at the thing and having Tucker and Megan there and stuff. But you've just got no real theory here. And it just makes no sense at all.
Zero. And Dave Smith is a pretty big critic of Israel. And when he's sitting here going, what are you guys talking about? You guys are so lost in this anti-Israel rabbit hole that you don't even see reality anymore.
They telling me the government of Israel took out their number one guy who still had influence amongst young people. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I don't think it's I don't know. I think honestly, in a way, I think a lot of those guys might have fallen into their own dark force where they're just so wrapped up in blaming Israel and blame.
This is literally what I said. Every time I've talked about it, I've said it. And, it's just insane. And now one of the people that have been pushing this narrative completely backtracking. Candace Owens has legit made multiple videos straight up accusing Israel of murdering Charlie Kirk, and now she's completely backtracking. It's crazy how I never once said that Israel murdered Charlie Kirk, but the Zionists are repeating that without a shred of evidence. What? It's crazy. It's absolutely hilarious is what it is. And just so all of you know, I never cared about either side of this story until the anti-Israel side claimed that I was Mossad. And at that point, I was like, I have to meme on these guys now. I have to meme on them because they are so delusional that they think a dumb redneck from Alabama who don't even know who Mossad is working for Mossad. And I'm like, my goodness, how stupid are these people? And that was kind of showed me how dumb that crowd is. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you people are effing retarded. I almost dropped the F-bomb. And then so they'll say, oh, you're Israel shill. Okay, gun to my head. If somebody says, are you pro-Israel or anti-Israel? Gun to my head. You know what my answer will be? I'm America first, second, and third. Do what you got to do. That would be my answer. Meaning, I'm not playing your game. I'm America first, second, and third, and fourth and fifth. Do what you got to do. Doesn't matter to me. Simple as that. So, anyway, it is what it is, but it's funny to meme on them for sure. Preston says, sounds like something a massage agent would say. Thank you, Preston. I appreciate it. Let me see here. Okay. So yeah, back to what originally started me talking about this was, Erica Kirk is now the CEO and chair of the board for Turning Point. And guess what? With that news, guess what? A whole new level of delusion follows, because welcome to the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Because now that Erica Kirk has been announced for this position, now we have a new level of delusion out there. And you see it right here. This is the new level of delusion. I mean, what? Whoo! I mean, this is where we are. Welcome to the internet. I will be your guide. That is essentially it right there. Welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide. And it's wild. But there is some positive news. Exactly. The Senate has approves resolution designating Charlie Kirk's upcoming birthday, October 14th, 2025, as National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. That's what I'm talking about right there. Awesome news indeed. You love to see it. So that's great news. It's great to see. And this is the leftists are in a weird spot right now because they've obviously backpedaled a lot, but they're showing their delusions in other ways. And now you have the Charlie Kirk show producer tells Comedy Central to continue airing the South Park episodes that mock Charlie Kirk per Variety, because Charlie Kirk said how much he enjoyed those. And this is where South Park's in a real tough spot now, because South Park was not doing this for comedy. They were not. They were doing this because they could not stand Charlie Kirk. And I think that they probably have some very, very uncomfortable episodes that they don't want shown. I think they are completely terrified now to show them. And they did this to themselves, because this is how Charlie Kirk responded to South Park.
Hey, everybody. So the South Park episode is going super viral right now. You can check out our reaction to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast, which you guys can check out in the, in the podcast bio. I'm sorry, in the bio up there. And also, it's just so funny how many libs are mad that we are not mad. We can laugh at ourselves on the right. JD Vance is saying, hey, finally made it. See, we are different than liberals. You see, all of you that are liberals out there, your skin is so thin and you're so intellectually fragile. We we can take a joke because we know that we all fall short of the glory of God. That's what makes us different, because liberals are not funny and conservatives now own humor. Liberals are just mad and honestly really sad.
It drives them crazy that they have put themselves in this position right here. And like I said, I never really have a South Park making, doing anything from that perspective really never bothered me. It bothered me when they responded to, I think it was the Department of Homeland Security, ICE or something like that. And they quote tweeted them, and you could tell that like they were very, very upset that the administration was leaning into it. And at that point in time, it proved to me that South Park is completely lost to their TDS at this point in time. So, hey, good on you. Good on you. You did this to yourselves. You were lost in TDS, and now you've found yourself in a really tough spot, and it's a spot that you deserve. You deserve to be there. Laughing Haffron for 50 says, God bless you all. Hopeful you're having a good day, better than mine, I think is what you meant to say. Very bad back pain. If I could give my 2 cents about Israel, I just think they have hands wrapped up in a whole bunch of powerful politicians, BlackRock, and so on. Not everything. I don't disagree. And that this is a very level-headed take right here. There are valid questions and concerns about Israel's involvement in our government, 1,000%. And you lose credibility to press on those questions and bring those concerns up when you just accuse them of everything. It's a credibility problem from the anti-Israel crowd because they don't have any ability to have nuance. They don't have any ability to have any critical thinking. That's the problem. This is why I go after these idiots, because you have a good foundation for what you're saying, but you're like the Me Too movement. It's exactly like the Me Too movement. Were there situations where women were being sexually assaulted? Sure. Was every man sexually assaulting every woman? No. But that's what the Me Too movement turned into. And you lost all credibility the moment you start accusing everyone of everything. Then you have no one guilty of anything. Simple as that. Laughing Haffron says, to finish my sentence, I just don't think they're behind everything. I just think they have their hands deep with powerful people to push some of their will. That's what I think. Maybe you could give your 2 cents, D-Day. Literally what you're saying, I agree with. AIPAC and their involvement, when you have, what's his name? Congressman Randy Fine. The way he talks about Netflix Yahoo is disgusting. The way that they go, Israel is our greatest ally. It's our greatest ally. It's the most annoying thing ever. When I hear, whether it's conservative or liberal politicians say, Israel is our greatest ally, that is literally the same thing as them saying, safe and effective, glad I got the booster. It's NPC downloads is what it is. And so, yeah, you and me are on pretty much the same page. Hershey 3PO, or was it, what? Yikes. I don't even want to know. Andrew CR for 10,000 something, whatever that means. Jeremy is a grifter. Yeah, we know, effer. Anyway, here's more of my shitty currency. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is somebody accusing me of being a grifter? Because I am. Absolutely a grifter. That's the nicest thing anyone can say to me, is to call me a grifter. It just truly is. Hey, that's pretty cool, Tree Bear. Look at what Tree Bear just put up. That's cool. Look at that. Just needs the white shades. I need some shades. Do I have any shades to put on? I don't have my white shades, but it just needs the sun glasses, man. That's pretty awesome right there. Hell yeah. That's cool. I like that. Thank you, Tree Bear. Hail to you. Okay, so we got more to talk about. It's been a busy, busy day full of nonsense all through the internet. President Trump has put out a few zingers as well. We also got this right here. So let's see. 8 charged in massive Medicaid fraud scheme, which resulted in 8.4 million stolen Medicaid billing in Minnesota. The individuals charged. I'm sensing a theme here. I'm sensing a theme in those names. Just saying, I'm sensing a theme. Do you guys see anything that might, seem like a certain type of theme going on there? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just profiling. Or maybe President Trump's onto something right here. Let's listen to Trump.
She should be impeached. I think she's terrible. Is she originally from Somalia?
We're talking about Ilhan Omar, and he says she should be impeached.
So how are they doing this? How's their government? Do they have a president? Do they have a council? Do they have anything? Do they have police? I love these people that come from a place with nothing. No anything.
He's talking about Somalia, and he says, I love these people come from a place with nothing, no anything, and then they tell us how to run our country. Now, why did I bring that up? Well, I brought that up because Trump says, does Ilhan Omar know these people? Are they from her wonderfully managed home country of Somalia? Bro. Oh, that's my president right there. That is my president. Oh, make profiling great again. That's exactly what we're doing. Make profiling great again. I mean, honestly, because I think it's relevant for this moment in time. Okay? Some of you, most of you might have seen it. But for those that have never seen it, I think that it's important to play it. It's very important to play it right now. The greatest song ever made.
The company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive, selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green-looking skin, and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we want to eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. chief is gonna say. We love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
Oh, and it's all because of this. Because if Democrats were in power right now, that is what they would respond with. We love our Somalians. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet. And Trump's like making racially profiled jokes about these criminals that have been found in our country and using it as a way to get Ilhan Omar impeached. We are not the same. Trump is crushing it, and it's beautiful to see. It's excellent to have a leader and a commander-in-chief that'll call it like it is. It's fantastic, and I love it so much. Bird Up 420 says, RIP Irina Zaruska. I know there are bigger things in the news right now, but I hope people don't forget her. What happened to her could have happened to any of us, especially if you live in a soft crime blue city. You are absolutely correct. And I've seen a lot of people posting about her, and I'm glad people are not going to forget her. President Trump actually posted about her just the other day. And I was glad to see that President Trump not letting her memory go anywhere, which is, again, this is why he's such a great president. Here's what Trump posted just the other day over on True Social, and we cannot forget her at all. Absolutely not. Doc Hollywood for a proper 199. And says, a little something for my favorite Alabama Mossad agent. Now show us some Sweeney, ya grifter. You want to see Sweeney? Really? So do I. Pretty great. It's pretty great. That's pretty great. I think we can all agree that that is a pretty great moment right there. We all respect that.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
Come on, baby. Come on.
I'm gonna do it. Do not come.
I'm gonna come. Beautiful white paint. It's coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at levels of speed that nobody ever even conceived of. Where it's rough, but it's coming, and now it's turned around. It turns around, and it's coming, and it's gonna. I said, oh, because you see at that bottom, this section right here, that sucker's. Oh.
Thank you, Doc Hollywood. Appreciate it. Trump is not done, by the way. So right here, Jimmy Kimmel, just before announcement of Best Picture of the Year, felt he had to respond to a truth put out by me towards the end of the show. He made a total fool of himself, his wife and agent begging him not to do it, while also proving to be one of the worst hosts in the history of the Academy Awards. Watch the clip. So here we go.
I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you. I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again.
Oh my goodness, man. They are so obsessed with Trump. That's the funniest thing Jimmy Kimmel's ever said, is reading Donald Trump's tweets. That's it. That's the only way you can be funny, Jimmy Kimmel. That's the only way, is just to read Trump's tweets. Amazing. Let's see here. Where is this right here? Got that one. Oh, okay. So I have not seen this clip yet, but leftists are gathered in New York City outside of ABC Studios demanding ABC grow a spine due to Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation. What? I haven't seen this.
ABC, grow a spine! 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 ABC, grow a spine!
Who printed these signs? Who paid for these signs? Like, how is anybody not smart enough to realize you don't just naturally show up less than 24 hours after Kimmel's fired with professionally made signs? It's clearly paid protesters.
Well, let's be clear about what happened. ABC did not cancel this show in a vacuum. He did was call out the fact that they are using the murder of Charlie Kirk to come after, they're cynically using it to come after their political opponents. Was he right about that? Yes! Did they prove him right once again when they came after him? Yes! All right, Jimmy Kimmel needs to be brought back on air immediately. Yes, he does! And I want to echo everyone, including Jim Keedy, who very powerfully talked about how what we are facing now is not just another bad president. We are facing fascism. Kimmel stays, Trump must go. Kimmel stays, Trump must go.
I will repeat what I have said, and I will continue to say, when your enemy is making a mistake, do not interrupt them. And I stand by that claim. Do let them keep doing this. You have to understand, this is making them look so bad. This does not help. They've been doing this for 10 years, and this is what has gotten them in the position that they're in. And they're still doing the very thing that led them to the place that they're in. Let them keep going.
Kimmel stays, Trump must go. Kimmel stays, Trump must go.
Okay, we're gonna hear from.
What democracy looks like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Damn right it is.
Ooh, damn right it is. I gotta hear that one again. He was so proud of himself.
What democracy looks like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Damn right it is.
No. Do you know what that reminded me of? Hang on, I gotta find it. He was so proud of himself. This is what that reminded me of right here. I gotta find it. You remember this moment right here? When Chris Christie called Trump Donald Duck and he was so proud and no one reacted. Remember?
That, but he's not. And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching. Okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
All right. I want to ask.
Dude, it's so painful. It's so. Look at that look. He was so proud of himself. Dude, he was up all night in his underwear with his belly flapping around. He's just saying it into the mirror. I'm going to crush Trump tomorrow. This is going to be all over social media, honey. You watch. This is going to go viral. I'm going to take Trump down with this one, honey. You just watch. He felt so good about it. That's exactly what this guy reminded me of right here. Damn right.
What democracy looks like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Damn right it is. I just want to read a few quotes.
Why does it look like Beardo? Why does it look like Beardo? It does look like Beardo.
And then I'm going to go. Some quotes that inspire me. Should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the public interest. Here's another one, same person. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the...
It's not satire. What are you talking about? Charlie Kirk was assassinated in a public setting in front of college students by a crazy leftist. And Jimmy Kimmel went on national television and falsely claimed that it was a Trump supporter. That's not satire. Holy shit. What's up, Smash JT? What's up, Az?
Discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. Does anyone know who I'm quoting? I'm quoting Brandon Carr, the same person who threatened ABC and got them to take Kimmel off the air, was blatantly un-American from a regime that is blatantly un-American. And so I will ask all of you and everyone watching, keep the pressure on. Yes. Keep it on ABC. Yes. Keep it on the government. Email in, write in.
Absolutely. Keep doing exactly what you're doing, left. Keep doing it. Show up with your professionally made signs. Keep showing that you don't actually care about these things because, again, like I said, this is not really about Disney or ABC or any of these companies kind of taking a stand against this. This is ultimately them saying Jimmy Kimmel is not worth the trouble that he creates. The left, you have proven that you don't actually watch or support these things, and they have the internal numbers. They see the ratings for Jimmy Kimmel. You're not watching him. You're not supporting him. You don't care about him. And now you're just standing out there on a street corner virtue signaling. They know this. So keep doing it because they know you're not going to watch. Now, I want to watch. We're going to shift gears here away from the Kimmel thing for a minute because I know that Piers Morgan and Don Lemon have been, I guess, in some type of feud. And Don Lemon appeared on Piers Morgan. And apparently they kind of had it out. That's what I'm going off the headlines here. I want to see what happens here because I don't know.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what led to you leaving CNN. Let's take a look at the clip.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you
That's
talking?
Now, again, this is classic exactly what we're dealing with. Did Don Lemon get fired because of his comments about Nikki Haley, because it was anti-woman and all of that? Is that why he got fired? No. He got fired because his ratings were a disaster. And so when he made those comments, he became more trouble than he was worth. If he was the number one guy on their network, they would have never fired him. But he became more trouble than he was worth at this time because no one was watching his show.
Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and
I can't believe he said this though. This is a wild take. It's a wild take to say this in front of a couple of women.
40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying I agree with that, So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that live, and I was like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" Do you? I mean, if you had a do-over, would you say that again? I mean, what led you to say
Okay,
that?
Piers, let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, but just so the audience knows, and I hope you don't cut this out. When I asked you what subjects you wanted to talk about, you know what you said to me? You said, I want to talk to you about freedom of speech in America.
Gay black man is offended. Look out.
And the response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview.
Don Lemon, have you ever done any research on Piers Morgan? This is what Piers does. Piers always baits people. This is what he does every time.
You have invited me on many times, and I tell you, Piers, I know you. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels. And so when you said I'm not going to be involved in the panel, I agreed to come on your show. But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear,
rather than try to ambush me with something.
Just to be clear,
So,
you and I
yes.
haven't. Well, Don, just to be clear, you and I haven't had any conversation about your appearance here. You're talking about my team talking to you.
Yeah, no, and I saw you, Piers, in a restaurant, and I said, hey, Piers, good to see you. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels.
Right,
And
you're
I
not
said
on
the
a
same
panel.
thing to your bookers.
There's only one
and
of
so
you,
when
Don.
I asked you, and right, okay, and so, yes, and I said, that's why I agreed to do it. But when you asked me, or when your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have the text messages, what do you want to cover? Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being ambushed, but let me answer your question.
Hang on one second. No, Don, hang on one second. Let's just be crystal clear about what's just happened. You brought up the subject of cancel culture. I asked you, did you feel your departure from CNN was an example of that? And you answered the question. And I think it's perfectly reasonable.
And I answered the question.
Perfectly reasonable in that if you'd said to me, I don't want to talk about it, fine. No, but hang on, no, so sorry. You said what you're going to say. By the way, we don't.
Disingenuous.
Don, we don't
Piers,
edit.
I don't like arguing like this. I'm not going to get into an argument with you. Piers, I think that's completely disingenuous. And I think anyone watching that.
What are you talking about?
And so if you will let me, if you will allow me, please.
What are you
stop
talking
interrupting me,
about?
Okay. Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're
answer the
being a
question?
complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Let's go. Now I kind of want to see the rest. They did a good job of clipping that out to make me want to see the rest. So now I got to go find it on Piers. Piers is a genius at this, okay? Is this it right here? I think this is it. Let's see here.
No, I don't. I'm surprised because I was actually taking up for Charlie Kirk. I was taking up for him as someone who died a horrible, untimely
did he cut it out? Look at
death,
that.
and that there are people who are out here.
Here it is.
In their 20s and 30s, and so I you focus on youth panels. And so when you said I'm not going to be involved in the panel, I agreed to come on your show. But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear,
rather than try to ambush your show. I think anyone watching that.
What are you talking about?
And so if you will let me, if you will allow me, please.
What
please
are you
stop interrupting
talking about?
Me, okay. Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're
answer the
being a
question?
complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Piers always interrupts. This is what he does. Piers always does this.
Okay.
I do.
Well, that's very kind and respectful of you.
It wasn't intended to be kind
I don't
or
like the ad
respectful.
hominem attacks. I could respond in kind.
You can
but
say
I
what you
won't
like
because
about me. I don't
think
care.
that I think that I'm above that. I'm not going to do that, Piers. That's not who I am.
I don't understand
do
why
ad
you're
hominem
playing the
attacks.
victim card when you
I don't do
yourself
personal attacks.
mentioned cancel culture.
Because Piers. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me do this.
What are you going to do? Read out my
If you
team's
want me to do
messages
this,
to you?
Piers, it should be embarrassing. Yeah, I can read out the team messages to you because I
What
just
are
think
you
it's
prepared to
completely
talk about,
unfair,
then, Don?
and you know that. I'm prepared to answer.
Dude, when I've been on Piers twice now. The last time, and I don't think Piers did this intentionally. He has no idea who I am still. It's kind of like Alex Jones. He called me Jeremy from Gamers and Geeks or whatever. He had no clue who I was. So, but he called me a Snyder bro And it's because Gary mentioned the Snyder Bros. And he goes, we got a Snyder Bro here. And then all the Snyder Bros clipped it out. It was so funny.
To your question, and then I'm going to move on. I told you I'm prepared to talk about Charlie Kirk's death, the response to it, and cancel culture, and and freedom of the press,
so
and freedom of speech.
You were prepared to talk about cancel culture, or you weren't?
Unless you. No, I'm not prepared.
You're not prepared to talk about
cancel culture, but that has. Oh my God, Pierce,
dude, that's a classic answer from a mainstream person. Not prepared to talk about something. This is why mainstream guys will never make it in the world of YouTube. They will not make it. They can't. They're not prepared. They need everything laid out for them. They can't just talk about things on the fly. For instance, like Friday Night Tights. Do you know how much planning we do for Friday Night Tights? Almost none. Yeah, Gary has them, like, he tells like the crew he wants them to watch some show or some movie or some shit like that so we can talk about it. But there's no planning. Half the time, we don't even, sometimes Gary will tell the crew to watch a show or a movie and we end up not even talking about it. And then everybody's mad, as specifically who's in the chat, as gets even madder because, first of all, Az hates, like, whatever he's watching that Gary wants, Az is like, I hate this. I don't want to. I'm miserable. But then he gets even more angry when Gary doesn't even have us talk about it. We don't plan things out. And then you got Don Lemon here. He's like, I'm not prepared to talk about cancel culture. We didn't prepare.
Cancel culture and and freedom of the press.
So
and freedom of speech.
You were prepared to talk about cancel culture, or you weren't?
Unless you. No, I'm not prepared.
You're not prepared to talk about
cancel culture. But that has. Oh my God, Pierce, could you stop interrupting me?
No, really, you're kind of exhausting me. It's ridiculous. Why would you react this way to a perfectly normal? Obviously,
okay. So Piers knows that he is getting content right now. Piers is great at this. Okay, he's fantastic at this. He wants people frustrated. Like, I'm watching this right now because Piers basically clickbaited me into it. And it's beautiful. And he sees the weakness with Don Lemon and he's just pouncing. He's so good at this.
If you mention cancel culture, obviously it's rational and logical that I would ask you whether you felt what happened to you at CNN was that. I played the clip and then you throw a hissy fit.
I've given you a moment, enough. I've given you your moment.
I don't want a moment.
This is going to go viral, so please,
I don't want
enough.
A moment,
yes, you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this. Otherwise, you would be a respectful journalist and host. And
I don't think I'll take lectures on being a respectful journalist
because you want a moment. Oh my gosh, Piers.
I won't.
I can't even hear because there's a delay and you keep talking. And it
is true. There is always a delay when you do the Piers show. At least a couple times I've been on it. There's a delay and it makes it super awkward. He's not wrong about that.
What do you want me to do? Like rip the earpiece out in the mic and run off so you have a moment?
No, I don't care.
You do whatever you like. The question? Are you just going to keep pillaring me with questions?
I don't know why you've gone on this weird rant. I don't understand any of it. Why have you done this weird reaction? I simply asked you about whether you felt your departure from CNN was, in your eyes, an example of cancel culture. I played the clip,
Piers,
and
I then said,
when you watch it back,
Piers,
do you really understand what you were saying?
He's destroying you, Don Lemon. He's destroying you.
This is why I don't do this, but you're embarrassing yourself, Piers.
Actually, you might be embarrassing yourself, Don.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, you might be. Have you thought of that?
Okay.
You're a journalist. You don't want to talk about a story, a massive story that involved you?
Piers, can we move on? You can let me answer the question, and then we can talk about the things that you invited me on to talk about.
Why don't you just answer the question to start with?
And we've gotten so far away from what you wanted me to answer that we're off into La La Land. So let me say something about that. The clip that you played had nothing to do with me leaving CNN. Okay. And unless you know something that I don't know about me leaving CNN, then you should tell me about it. It had nothing to do.
Dude, Don Lemon has no idea how to navigate the internet. The fact that he just allowed Piers to get that much time out of him when all he had to do was answer the question. That's all he had to do. and he kept everything that Piers would set up for him. He just kept walking into it and walking into it. That was incredible.
I worked there for months after that. So that had nothing to do with it. And so, you know, and I forget the other thing that you were asking me about in that.
He is
when you watched the clip,
overwhelmed.
If you could explain what was going through your mind, that's all.
Thank you. I think the key phrases in that clip, if you want to be honest, and
this is all you had to say from the start, Don Lemon. This is all you had to do was answer the man.
Want you to listen to it, is that I'm not saying that I believe that. That's not according to me. What I was speaking for there is how society treats women. And someone like Nikki Haley should know, if women have been discriminated against for centuries, she should be more careful than to say something that discriminates against older people. That's it. And so people took that out of context. No one puts in whenever they write about it that I said, I'm not saying that.
See, you just have to. This is why somebody like Don Lemon is not cut out for the world of content creation on the internet. There's some people that you can have a good rapport with, and you can actually have good, back and forth or whatever. And I have a lot of friends, on the YouTube side or whatever that, I have a genuine friendship with. And then there's other people that it's just, hey, come on my show so I can have content. Piers, for instance, I've been on there twice. He has no idea who I am. Alex Jones, I've already talked about this many times. Alex Jones has no idea who I am. I've had him on Friday Night Tights twice. Have his phone number, texted with him. He has no idea who I am. Years ago, I did a show. Me and Ryan did a show with Officer Brandon Tatum. He has no idea who I am. We had a great show. We were on there for like 2 hours. ABL was on there as well. And me and Ryan talked about it afterwards. Like, man, that was actually a good show. We all fed off each other well. Never another peep from that crew. Not even a peep. And it was like, oh, it wasn't about collabing. It was about, hey, let's just get these guys on because we need people for the show this week. It wasn't about like, let's do, and that's fine. Like, I don't care. And Don Lemon is on here going, Piers, why are you doing this to me? Because he's going to get content out of you. He knows what he's doing. And Don Lemon is in there going, we're supposed to be friends and journalists and all that. Oh my God, it's so cringe.
I don't believe that. I said that very clearly there. So that is not the reason that I was let go from CNN. And so again, unless you know something, then, go ahead.
Well,
and tell
as
me,
you know, it was widely reported that was. So what was the reason?
Don't believe everything you read.
What was the reason?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
But it all happened after that incident. You know that.
Yeah. Well, Piers, everything happens after something. I don't understand what your point is.
What?
Well, my point is, I think it's quite newsworthy. If you say it had nothing to do with that, then it'll raise the obvious question.
I don't think it's newsworthy, Piers. That was 3 years ago.
Right.
It's not newsworthy. That news means something that's new. This isn't new.
Right.
That was 3 years ago. That's
okay,
been all litigated. If you want to find out about it, you are free to be able to read the interviews that I read. You are free to read the statement that perhaps your folks should pull up the statement when I left CNN, and that can explain to you what happened. So this is nothing new.
You just told me you've no idea why you were let go.
On. I'm doing something completely different, and so that's that.
Robbie, you just said you've no idea why they got rid of you.
I did.
So how do you know it wasn't to do with the clip we just played?
I just said that. I just answered your question. Now, what else do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about, Don?
This is great. This is so... Don Lemon is completely defeated. This dude has been... Piers Morgan has put on a clinic. He has completely destroyed this dude, man. Oh my.
Answered your question. Now, what else do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about, Don?
That's so disrespectful, man. You have no idea the amount of disrespect. What do you want to talk about, Don?
What do you want to talk about, Dom?
The subjects that you invited me on to discuss, Piers.
I thought that included free speech and everything around that.
I know you're loving this viral moment. I just think that you're
I don't think you understand me at all. I've got nothing against you at all. Never have had. I was perfectly...
Piers, you think I don't understand you? Piers, I worked with you for years. I know more about you probably than most people who are watching this program. And most...
Clearly not. How do you say you understand him when you have... He has put on a clinic of how to manipulate you for content just now. Oh my goodness.
Worked with you for years. I know more about you probably than most people who are watching this program, and most people, a lot of the people who are working with you.
Why would
I worked with your staff. I inherited your staff at CNN. I know way more about you than I would care to know. I know way more about how you do business at CNN than most people who are watching this program. And
did you hear his voice crack? He's broken, dude.
Most people, a lot of the people who are working with you.
Why would I
worked with your staff. I inherited your staff at CNN. I know way more about you than I would care to know. I know way more about how you do business and how you approach journalism than I care to know. I have not been on anyone else's show. I don't want to be on anybody's show. I don't want to do panel shows. I don't know. I have not been on...
Was that a cut? I got to imagine that was a cut. They must have cut something right there.
At CNN. I know way more about you than I would care to know. I know way more about how you do business and how you approach journalism than I care to know. I have not been on anyone else's...
Yeah, that was a cut. That was absolutely a cut. I don't know what they cut. Dang.
And how you approach journalism than I care to know. I have not been on anyone else's show. I don't want to be on anybody's show. I don't want to do panel shows. I don't want to argue with people about things that are inconsequential. What we should be talking about right now is how to keep what happened to Charlie Kirk from happening to anybody else. That's where the conversation should be. But instead, you're trying to get a moment. You're trying to make some news out of something. But go ahead. Have your fun, but we should be discussing something that is productive to the American people instead of you going into the garbage and trying to find something that will, give you a moment or that.
Oh, Don, this is where, again, this is great YouTube right here. This is fantastic.
You will, get a click out of it or more viewers for your program.
You sound very bitter, Dom.
God dang. Piers, brutal. Piers is like, I am going for... He's just like, I'm stepping on your throat, bro. Like, holy crap, Piers is brutal.
Or viewers for your program.
You sound very bitter, Dom.
Piers, are you kidding me?
No.
Bitter. I'm the happiest go lucky person ever. I'm just exposing your hypocrisy and how you lied to me about what you wanted to discuss.
I've never talked to you about this interview at all.
You don't have conversations with your producers? So your producers lied to me, or you're not that involved?
You've admitted one of the subjects we wanted to talk to you about.
You're not that involved in the editorial process of your own show where they don't convey to you
by your own admission
what you are.
What the
guest is what the guest is going to talk about on the
you
program?
Obviously expected
Are you not that involved in the editorial process of your own show that you don't know that?
You've already admitted that one of the subjects was free speech, and yet here you are getting enraged about me exercising my right to free speech to ask you a few questions.
Piers, I'm not enraged. I'm not enraged at all. What? I think this is kind of funny. I'm not enraged at all. I mean, it's kind of exactly what I thought, like, hey, I don't want to go on the Piers Morgan show because of the spectacle of it all. And so that's confirmation of that. But I'm glad you got this moment. This is a moment for me as well. That's going to play out on social media. It's going to be good for me too. So
oh my God, the cope is out of control. The cope is out of... Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good for me too. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great for me to be roasted on your show. It's going to be great.
This is a moment for me as well. That's going to play out on social media. It's going to be good for me too. So go for it.
What moment do you think we've got?
Oh my God, dude. This is... If you are looking to be a like an interviewer on YouTube, this needs to be shown in classes. Like this is art. This is absolute art. And Don Lemon keeps walking right into it.
Piers, come on.
Come on. I don't know what you mean.
Come on, let's do something that's more productive than this.
Well, look,
Let's
you
be
know,
adults here, Piers. Come on.
honestly, when you do this, when you say that I'm into journalism, and you do this, or like it's not journalism, you've taken a big high moral ground
Piers,
about. Hang on. I'll ask you a question.
I am taking a moral high ground. Piers, you should know better than anyone where this conversation should be going, especially since you understand what happened at CNN with you.
I was
with
about
gun control in the United States. That was a big thing for you when you were at CNN, and I'm not sure what happened if that was part of the reason that you were let go. But you know, hey, Piers, this is Don Lemon. I know you. I've worked with you. I know a lot about you. So let's just move on and be adults. And so let's talk about, I think, something that would be important to you, and that is sensible gun legislation in the United States that would have perhaps prevented the untimely and sad death of Charlie Kirk. Can we do that?
How would it have prevented it happening?
Why don't you tell me? Because you are an expert on the subject. At least you were when you were working at CNN. You were very pro gun legislation, and I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, pro, gun control.
Yeah, I don't understand how you stop a deranged young man who the investigators say has become radicalized to the left from taking his grandfather's old rifle and using it to fire one bullet that kills Charlie Kirk. If you can think of a legislation that would
stop that. I think you just answered that. You said your grandfather's old rifle. Right. So look, perhaps it should have been in a safer place. Perhaps
do you know where it was?
There should be rules. Hang on. There should be rules as it relates to people, young people in the house who can have.
Don, I got news for you, brother. You were looking better when Piers was just tying you up like a pretzel, because now you're making yourself look even worse. Like, go back a few minutes and get back to what Piers was doing to you, because you're looking even worse right now.
Possession of guns. There are a whole lot of things that we can talk about as it relates to sensible gun control and rules and laws around guns. And so, I don't know the circumstances in his home. I do know that it was a conservative MAGA family, a gun-loving family. And so perhaps if we didn't have more guns than people in the United States and our gun laws weren't so lax, perhaps we could prevent a whole lot of these deaths. You're in the UK, all over Europe, all over different continents and different countries in the world. Everybody has mental health issues. Everyone has problems. But you know what they don't have? As easy access to guns as Americans do, and as many guns as Americans do. And so that is the only difference in this. And so to me and to most sensible people in this country and all over the world, it seems to us and me that perhaps if we got a handle on that, we too could be like England. We too could be like Ireland. We too could be like Italy. We too could be like even countries that are not a part of Europe. We too could be that way and not have so many senseless gun deaths.
And do you think that one of the reasons why this shooter killed Charlie Kirk was because he didn't like his opinions?
If what law enforcement
oh boy, he can't just answer the direct question. You notice that? He's thinking of a way to spin out of answering it truthfully because he knows what the truth is. He knows exactly what the truth is.
Ed, about if the text messages or if that all comes out in evidence and they are true, then yeah, I think he's given his reasons. I think he gave the reasons. He didn't like what Charlie Kirk stood for. He didn't like what he said. I don't believe that's a reason to kill anybody or shoot anyone. But if this is true, he has admitted to that.
Okay. And finally, Don, we started this, just to be fair. You said you don't like the way that the MAGA crowd have reacted to Charlie Kirk because they're doing it just for clicks and stuff about somebody's death. And yet,
some of them, I said some of them. Okay. I said some of them, not all of them.
Which ones in particular are you thinking of?
Yeah, but that's such a good question. That is such a good question. Well, which ones in particular?
Well, if you go back and watch the Don Lemon Show on YouTube, or if you watch Don Lemon on social media, you will find I mentioned certain people, and you can find it there.
So you object to clickbaity headlines about people and death?
Do I object to what?
Clickbaiting headlines about people and death.
Not necessarily. I think that's part of our culture. I think it's part of our culture, and I think it's
is it something you ever do?
It is a byproduct, please, of our siloed media, and I think people perhaps sometimes do it to get attention, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. But sometimes people do it to break through, whether that's right or wrong. It's just simply what it is. That's a matter of fact.
But do you ever do it?
I don't think I do it to any more so than anyone else. I don't think I do it any more so than the Piers Morgan Show or any other show that is based on YouTube.
I'm only curious because 2 weeks ago, you had a headline.
You have to do something.
Well, 2 weeks ago,
I'm not done talking yet, Piers. I'm not done talking yet, Piers. I didn't finish my statement. I say sometimes you have to do things to get people's attention so that they can click on something and to see if it is important or not, and they can make up their own decision about if they want to continue on with the content.
I got it. That's the whole point of clickbait. Yeah. You had a headline 2 weeks ago. Hot takes. Could Donald Trump be dying?
Wow. My goodness. Destruction. Absolute destruction.
Yeah, a lot of folks did. I think you probably did a show on that as well.
No, I didn't.
And because people were asking, if you look at even in some of the mainstream media, people were asking. Donald Trump's administration was not transparent about how sick he was during COVID. And so what leads people to believe that Donald Trump's administration is going to be transparent about what's happening with him now? About what's happening with his hands, about what's happening with his ankles,
let's just be
about
clear.
what's
He's
happening
obviously
with his health. He is the leader of the free world. People have the right, especially Americans, to know the health of their president.
He wasn't dying. You knew he wasn't dying. He's obviously not dying, and you were doing it for clickbait, which is the very thing
I didn't say he was dying.
Everybody else
could Donald Trump be dying because people are asking if he's dying. That's
Got it.
I don't see that there's anything wrong with that.
Nope. Don Lemon, thank you very much.
Do you?
Yeah, we've run out of time, Don. You know what it's like in the news business.
Yeah. Thank you, Piers.
Thanks for coming on Uncensored.
Wow. That is one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen. Wow. Bravo, Piers. Bravo. Like, absolutely, like, destruction. A masterclass in how to just destroy someone. Piers is a pro. Like, you don't have to like Piers, and I know Piers says crazy stuff sometimes. I've had, massive disagreements with Piers. That was art. That is talent right there. Like, true talent. Few people can do what he just did, and he did it effortlessly. That was beautiful. Unbelievable. Mods, if you can link back to that full episode for people that want to watch it or whatever. Because it was like he had Crowder on earlier. Yeah, he had Crowder on the show earlier. So they had a lot of discussion. And him and Don Lemon had more discussion too over Charlie Kirk and everything like that. But yeah, that was fantastic indeed. Okay, Laughing at Hafford for 50 says, I think me and you agree on a lot of things and can disagree on some things. I just like to piss off the pro-Israel people more than the anti-Israel. I think a lot of anti are crazy sometimes. One more thing. It's all right if I could join you guys on Battlefield 6. Yeah, I actually agree with like that. Like, I understand that the pro-Israel people are kind of just as annoying as the anti-Israel people, for sure. But I guess for me, it's like, I just the anti-Israel people getting in my chat and always like I could tell who they watch and I could tell they don't have any critical thinking, so they just listen to certain people and then they just repeat those people's opinions, and so it's real easy not to take them seriously at that point in time. But I agree that the pro-Israel side is equally as annoying as the anti-Israel side. It's all a matter of perspective at that point in time. JB username says, let's see, what is this? Something swoop like in like Batman. I want to keep protesters swoop in like Batman. Yeah, I want to keep them on retainer for the next time I get in an argument or mildly inconvenienced. Thank you, JB username. That's when I was reacting to the Jimmy Kimmel weirdos. Just laugh and honk your nose for 20 says I believe the left is completely stunned. The tactics they have been relying on for decades is suddenly ineffective. They are scrambling and panicked. They don't realize we have stopped listening to them entirely. It's very true. We have completely tuned them out, and we just meme on them at this point. I mean, memes are the way to go. You always people that don't understand memes and meme culture will never truly take it to the next level on the internet. And, someone that like, again, this is from a couple days ago, Donald Trump with no caption just posted this to social media, to his Twitter account. This is his most recent Twitter post. And I think we all remember this. He just posted this without any caption.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
I've been really trying to hold back this feeling.
I got to mute it for a minute because I don't want to get hit with copyright. But this Trump is amazing.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with this?
No.
Dude literally sit there for 30 seconds thinking. It's amazing. Seriously, that's Trump's most recent tweet. He said nothing. He said nothing. He just posted that. It's amazing. Oh, man. How can you not love President Trump? Amazing. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hail Jeremy Mage of the 199, Unit 1 former Mossad agent, undercover as retired retailer from LA. Chat lives matter, mod lives matter, and happy Jessica. All the memes right there from John freaking Murdoch. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, have you seen Nick Fuentes versus Candace Owen drama? Candace is saying the Jays took out Charlie, but Nick is saying it's BS and demanding that she show evidence. What a time to be alive. I have seen all of it. I pay more attention to it than I should because it's just purely entertaining to watch. Let's see. I'm not even going to try to say your name. So there you go. It's a war between good and evil, and anyone who says otherwise is part of the problem. R.I.P. Charlie. Thank you. I got to give you a nickname so I can or just call you that. Kate for 20 says, I'm tired of these F-tard pundits telling me what I can and can't use for self-defense. Ireland and other countries are jealous of us. Thank you, Kate. Appreciate you as always. Andrew Sierra says, Don Lemon anus has returned to its original state. Gosh, remember when he was pushing all the pro-COVID stuff, mask and vaccines, and then him and his boyfriend were vacationing in the free state of Florida without their masks? You remember that? Remember that? Call him Sven. That's a good idea. I like that. NDI says, sorry for the humongous alphabication check. I don't even know if I said that right. Zach Attack says, Candace Owens is becoming a nuisance for Trump. Mega Leo says, I'm the only one who thinks that there's multiple groups trying to take down MAGA movement. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious that that's going on right now. No doubt about it in my mind. Southeastern Kaiju says Candace Owens is nuts verified. Vault 95 says CobraCast still doesn't make the chat members only. Nope, not at all. By the way, tonight I will be hanging out on Locals with Beard the Beardo, watching the Dolphins versus Bills. I have fully embraced being a Dolphins fan now. I'm no longer just a Dolphins fan because of Tua. I'm just a Dolphins fan because they are the worst team in the NFL. So might as well jump on the bandwagon when everybody else is jumping off. Yeah, they are terrible. And it's going to be, the Bills are like the best team in the NFL and the Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. So it's going to be bad. Tommy says Jeremy denies he's an Israeli massage agent, yet he's been complaining about having sore throats lately. Wake up, people. Gay joke confirmed. 8 o'clock says, when is Candace going to Hassan's stream? She sounds just like him. Matt Fox says even Fuentes is called an Israel shill because he doesn't think Israel killed Charlie. Moore says, here's some Jewish Mossad pesos. Didn't you know all Mossad agents are rednecks from Alabama? Apparently. Zinni Biscuit says, I have a friend that said he hopes Erica is better than Teresa Earnhardt. Well, if you know, you know. But Teresa Earnhardt turned out to be, she literally destroyed Dale Earnhardt's entire legacy and his company and everything. Ran Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. It was bad. As a NASCAR fan, I know all about that drama. And Teresa Earnhardt destroyed Dale Earnhardt's legacy. Absolutely did it. Bad. It was really bad. Z Herbs and Spices says that the anti-Israel crowd has been influenced by Israel now by making them seem so absurd that no one takes them seriously. It's Jewception. Tyrell says, thanks for giving us a place to process. Just want to say blaming this on Jews subtracts from the evil of what actually happened. Wokeness is evil. I agree completely. Blast Radio says, leftist Democrats getting FAFO moments in 1 month. Dark Red Knight says, RIP to Asmongold's dad. Yeah, let me talk about that really quickly. I did respond to Asmongold right here. So Asmongold tweeted this out a few days ago. His father passed away. He said, it's difficult for me to even find the words of emptiness it leaves him with. He was my last family member of the state, and I was there with him until the end. I will endure, but I don't think I'll ever be the same. Love you, Pa. So super, super sad for Asmongold. I don't know Asmon, but Asmon's a great content creator, and I think Asmon's voice right now with all the craziness that's been going on has been sorely missed. But obviously he's been dealing with real life stuff. And just wanted to offer my condolences to him. And I'm sure, I don't know when he'll be back, but like I said, in the past week with the craziness going on, we definitely missed Asmongold this week for sure. And I feel terrible for him. And so prayers up for Asmongold and his family. East Coast Toast Boy says, shitty is a curse word. Pay up those gifties. No, it's only the F-bomb rule. Joe C says, the Hershey Park remark about Jay is from Daily. Beardo said that he wanted flavored butt wipes, and both him and Jay just happened to love Hershey Park. Is that where that meme came from? Good Lord. See, I created Geeks and Gamers. I'm responsible for most of the memes, and then I miss one stream, and I'm already behind. How is anybody supposed to keep up with all this craziness? How is anybody supposed to keep up with it? Even I can't keep up with all this crap. Southeastern Kaiju says, hey, noticing patterns is racist. Ryan at Miller says, I saw Benny Johnson's tweet about the FCC chair talking to Scott Jennings on potentially launching an investigation into The View, and I want that. Yes, I want to show that really quickly. Here we go. Let's see here. Where's it at? Right here. Here we go. I haven't heard this.
Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers at NBC. Just wondering, do you have comments on those shows? And are they doing what Kimmel did Monday night? And is it even worse on those programs, in your opinion?
Well, look, you can be unfunny. That's fine. And a lot of people are sort of saying that, well, people are punishing Kimmel because they don't like a joke that he told. But, we don't need to rehash it here. But obviously what he said was not a joke. It wasn't presented at all that way. But when you look at these other TV shows, what's interesting is the FCC does have a rule called the equal opportunity rule, which means, for instance, if you're in the run-up to an election, you have one, partisan elected official on, you have to give equal time, equal opportunity to the opposing partisan politician. So far, so good. But there's an exception to that rule called the bona fide news exception, which means if you are a bona fide news program, you don't have to abide by the equal opportunity rule. And over the years, the FCC has developed a body of case law on that and has suggested that most of these late night shows, other than SNL, are bona fide news programs. And potentially, I would assume you can make the argument that The View is a bona fide news show. But I'm not so sure about that. And I think it's worthwhile to have the FCC look into whether The View and some of these other programs that you have still qualify as bona fide news programs and therefore exempt from the equal opportunity regime that Congress has put in place.
Got about 30 seconds.
Now, I don't watch The View. I did hear that someone said that they tuned into The View this morning specifically to see what they had to say about the Jimmy Kimmel situation. And apparently, now again, I don't know this to be completely true because I haven't triple verified or anything like that, but apparently they never brought up Jimmy Kimmel today. If someone can let me know if that's correct, and if they didn't bring up Jimmy Kimmel, that means they know that they need to stay completely away from this topic. But that's what I heard. I heard that they stayed away from the Jimmy Kimmel topic. So that is hilarious if in fact that is true. So they know. They're like, uh-oh, we better shut the F up. Vault 95 says Escape from Mogadishu is the prequel to Black Hawk Down. Strongest Link says Improper 199. Acknowledge me. JRG Project says, with all due respect to the Sweeney fans, Anna Paulina Luna is hotter. That's just me. I mean, I agree. Default says tried to mock Alex, but made a banger. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us is actually kind of a bar. It is. Lo-Fi says shouting into the void doesn't make him profound. Blast Radius says you want to shut down the Democrats' virtue signaling of Ukraine. Bring up Irina's name and crickets. Max Relax says it's looking at me, Ray. Miniature Phone Think says not that it even needs to be said, but the fact that they're using paid protesters to protect Jimmy Kimmel show shows beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was Dem propaganda. Shane says Colbert stays probably says it means says Trump must go. Where did I hear that before? NDI says Jeb Bush was better with the high five. Fantastic Snock says, remember when Kimmel celebrated Tucker getting the boot from Fox? Then Tucker grew as an independent media, and never forget what he said. Yeah, I mean, he celebrated Trump being deplatformed from Twitter. All of the Democrats that are saying how important this is that Jimmy Kimmel can't be put in this position, those same people were celebrating the president of the United States of America being banned and silenced on social media. That's all you need to know about this group of people. That's all you need to know. Let's see here. Wait, what is this? Now, the Netherlands parliament just voted to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization following President Trump's lead. Every country in Western Europe should follow suit ASAP. Leaders lead. Leaders lead, and that's what President Trump continues to do. Let's effing go. Let's effing go. That is awesome. Let's go. Drunk Christie 3PO for $1. East Coast Toasted Boy says, if they were facing fascism, they wouldn't be protesting, anti-free speech and all. I want to make my money without subjecting myself to cringe. Phil says, can you name one famous Jimmy who is not a fig? Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys coach. Jimmy Johnson's awesome. And you can say Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver, too. I think Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver, is probably a pretty good dude, but I just couldn't stand him as a NASCAR driver. Jimmy Stewart. There's a lot of Jimmys you can name. So, Jimmy Page, Jimmy Hart. Let's see. Hang on. Oh man, hold on. Oh no. Oh gosh, Zach Wilson just exposed me, guys. You didn't care about Charlie until he passed away. Typical Donald Trump supporter. Free Jimmy Kimmel. Zach, you must have watched all of my streams since Charlie Kirk passed away. Because I've literally said that same exact thing. Every stream since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, literally said, I was never a fan of Charlie Kirk. Never really paid attention to Charlie Kirk. Said it every stream. This is the thing about these clowns. They have no power. They have no power. My goodness. Hey, that thing that you've repeated every single stream, I'm going to expose you. Ooh. We got Blast Radius says Don Sweet Cheeks Lemon forgot he wasn't on a Boost Mobile style podcast when he thought he could control the narrative on Pierce's show. He found out. Yes, he did. Laughing Haffron says, okay, last one. Sorry for getting off topic. I should do these during gaming streams. Battlefield has always been my gaming franchise and would really enjoy playing with you guys when it comes out October 10th. Yeah, I'm going to be super busy in October. I think I'm going to be back towards the end of October. So October, just prepare, CobraCast audience. I'll probably be doing a lot of streams from my phone while I'm traveling. I'm doing a lot of traveling in October, but no, don't tell me that some Norwegian guy. Please don't tell me that's true. Please don't tell me that's true. Is this confirmed? Please don't tell me that's true. I know it wasn't looking good for him. I'm looking to see if there's anything on it. Smash JT, are you still here? Is this true? Let me go to Smash JT. Smash JT. Oh, Smash is here. Okay. So for those, some of you may not even know what I'm talking about. So let me find Smash JT's tweet right here. So Smash JT actually tweeted about it. But hearing word from a few folks that Billy from Game Chasers is not doing well in the hospital and is in after his very serious brain surgery. So he recently just had brain surgery, and he uploaded a video to his YouTube channel about it. And yeah, I hope that's not true. So I hope Smash, if you do have any updates or if you hear anything, let me know. But I don't. Whatever you said in the chat, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know where you heard that information. But this is the last confirmed information that I had heard. So, Smash says, so sad, I'm heartbroken. I'm waiting for his family to make a statement before I give any updates. There it is. So, damn it. That hurt, man. That hurt. That's terrible. I don't even want to. His cousin confirmed it, says some Norwegian guy. That is awful. That is absolutely awful. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm really sad. I'm really sad about that. Well, if there's any more information, I'll keep you guys updated. I know that's not a typical topic we talk about here, but yeah, I mean, Game Chasers is a, great YouTube channel. They've been doing this for a long time. Us in the gaming world know all about game chasers, and that is super, super sad. So let's see where we're at. Elite Neo for 50 says the legendary Johnny Carson once had some words of wisdom about how late night comedy shows should push for that. Comedy, not serious issues or politics. Maybe if Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert had adhered to that rule, they wouldn't have taken the L. Agreed. And that's the whole problem, is that these guys seem to think that everybody wants to hear their political opinions. In reality, of it is the majority of Americans that are tuning into those shows don't want to hear their political opinions. Aiken says the company I work for sent out a broadcast email reminding people their private social media posts can get them fired. Good. Andrew CR says, did Don Lemon hate James Gunn Superman to get on Piers Morgan too? You'll have to ask Tom from Midnight's Edge. I'm sure he's got the inside knowledge on that. Blast Radio says, remember with Sweet Cheeks Lemon set up Musk in an interview. Now he's crying and whining that Piers did that to him. 1,000%. Yep. Oculus says that Donna Lemon is getting totally clowned on by Piers. Lol. Alden the Blue says Don Lemon is so stupid he doesn't know how to capitalize on this subject. Just bitch and moan. That gave me brain pain. GM says Jeremy looks like the type of guy to learn one sentence in a foreign language and use it as a pickup line. I mean, yeah. Isaac says Mr. Lemon is a massive fig. Nader's Brick Channel says Donnie's ego is why he looks like the clown he is. Eric John Pizza Artist says Don Lemon and my wife have the same convo style. Blast Radio says Don Lemon is afraid of a reprisal attack, and rightfully so after what he did, after what the left did to Kurt. Broken Ovaltine Window says what's great and really failed was their eyebrow game. Keep on Jeremy. East Coast Toast Boy says Piers with the one-liners. Spectre with the 199. Thank you. Misery Vaughn thinks says when Morgan is on, he is on. Agreed. Zinni Biscuit says Piers now understands what we've been saying for years. Gun control won't stop this. East Coast Toast Boy says Don Lemon bringing up Piers getting fired from CNN. But Piers is here interviewing Lemon on his show now. But where is Don Lemon's show? No one's watching Don Lemon's show. That's the truth. No one cares. East Coast Toast Boy says, go on Don Lemon's show. Go on Don Lemon, show this. Look up Don Lemon, show that. You mean the show that isn't active anymore and saying it on Piers' new active show? Mike Zero Source says, how would new gun laws change the outcome for Charlie Kirk? That coward used a 30-06. It's a bolt action rifle that holds 5 rounds. You know, the first gun outside of a BB or a pellet gun that I shot was a 30-06. And it was a couple of guys. They were the meat department managers at the grocery store I worked at, and they were country boys. And they wanted me to they were like, well, you need to shoot this gun. You'll find out. Man, that thing kicked so hard. I was like delirious afterwards, and they were all laughing. And I was like, I guess that's one way to break me in. I was not prepared for the kick. I was not prepared at all. Anima Chain says a clinic on peeling a lemon, chef's kiss. Noel says it's not hard to clown on Don Lemon, to be frank. That's true. Kevin Spears says, please show the stop. He's already dead. Simpsons meme for Lemon. Blast Radio says it's not the gun Lemon. It was the hateful leftist ideology behind it. Bingo. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, I'd love for leftists to explain how gun laws could have stopped a kid from using his grandfather's bolt action rifle without door-to-door confiscation. Lapco says, wait a gosh darn minute. You counted to 5 earlier. You're not from Alabama. Cover blown, Mr. Mossad. How many shekels are you on the take for? Not enough, apparently. Rub-a-dub-dub says, as a Dolphins fan since the early 2000s, this team is better than most of the teams from 2000 to 2018. It's sad. Honestly, I think the Dolphins don't have – I think Mike McDaniel is the problem. I really do. I think the Dolphins have a really good team. They're not like top-tier team, but I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL, but Mike McDaniel sucks. Pre-Dawn Corp says, Jeremy, did you see Review Tech USA's horrible take on Charlie Kirk's wife? Keno Casino destroyed him. For it also he ate his daughter's eyes or whatever. I don't know this last line. I did see his take though. Review Tech is on that level with a lot of other like YouTubers that I just don't even want to entertain what they do, because it's clear what they're doing is trying to get attention. And when people are clearly motivated by just wanting attention and nothing else, I find it boring to cover them. And that's exactly what he wants. He just wants to get attention. And there's no line he won't cross. So I don't find it like even entertaining to even, you know, watch that dude. Maximus VT says, where are my breeds at? Mike Zero Sources. Remember the words of Gandhi, stay strapped or get clapped. Donovan Gandhi. He rolled with the 4-6 Crips back in the day. That's what's up. G-Dog was his street name. Matt Frog says, have you heard about the roller coaster where the guy died? Melanie Mack said she almost passed out. Jay went on it. Sounds scary. Are you a coaster guy? So that was at Epic Universe. And that was the Stardust Racers, the brand new roller coaster at Epic Universe. And so I have not been on it. I'm not really a big roller coaster guy anymore. I was when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I just don't want to ride roller coasters as much anymore. Like I do like the Velocicoaster. But let me show you right here. So here's this is a crazy story, man. But right here, this is Stardust Racers. Guest died of multiple blunt impact injuries after riding Epic Universe coaster. The Orange County Sheriff's Office here, the Orange County Sheriff's Office has both identified the guest who died after riding Epic Universe roller coaster, Stardust Racers, as well as revealed the cause of death. The guest who passed away was a 32-year-old male. The cause of death was ruled to be multiple blunt impact injuries. Okay, if there's more to this, then fair. But if a 32-year-old healthy male died by blunt force injuries, multiple, that is a problem. That is a massive problem. And I've heard this roller coaster is insanely intense. I've heard this is an intense roller coaster, and Velocicoaster is insanely intense at Universal Studios. This is at Epic Universe, which is also Universal. I haven't ridden it. I wasn't really wanting to ride it. I almost rode it one time because I heard how awesome it was. But again, I'm not a big roller coaster guy anymore. But yeah, man, that's pretty crazy right there. We'll have to see if there's more details that release. I'm sure Jay we have a theme park channel called Park Hoppin' that we cover theme parks for geeks and gamers. So I'm sure that there will be more information on that. But yeah, crazy story indeed. Wow. Let me see. All the Mo Kisses says, did you cut your hair? I did not. I mean, I got the clippers to cut just the sides right here where my hat. But no, my hair, I still have not cut my hair. It's still there. Sean Living Life says, bro, Trump just dropped a fire truth. Did he? Let's see. Let me go. Let's see where we're at. What did Trump just post? Oh no. Oh no. President Trump just accused Ilhan Omar of immigration fraud, setting the stage for possible revocation of her citizenship and deportation to Somalia. What? Wow. Wasn't she the one that married her brother in order to gain citizenship? Oh my goodness. This is what I voted for. I repeat, this is what I voted for. Wow. Coley says you can't financially recover from this. Here's some money. Thank you. Jeremy the Cyborg says, I'm 53 today. Happy birthday, Jeremy the Cyborg. 53. Let's effing go. Thank you so much. Insomniac says, I'm way behind, but don't those chanting in NYC about Kimmel sound like the chanting followers in the movie The Mummy? That is true. That is true. Agreed. Bearded Scout says a murder suspect being chased in LA right now. We have a police chase going on right now? Hang on. I don't have a notification. Let's see here. Police chase.
About their health or safety.
Well, as we're watching this here, I too started to think about that there is a victim here. If you've got a murder suspect, then there is a victim. And sometimes you look at a police pursuit, they're so routine here in Southern California. There can be a comical aspect to some of them and some of the moves, obviously dangerous. It can be almost like a movie. But as we think about that and what you just mentioned there is a victim here. We don't know the details of the murder suspect police were pursuing. Obviously, if this is their guy or girl,
Audio's a little low.
stop. And if it's not, this person is sure ditching out on police for some reason.
And then the family of the victim who was involved in the murder. I mean, there's a lot of issues.
Is he in a lowrider?
The situation where someone commits.
These police following me.
Are impacted. One murder has a lot of people that are impacted, directly impacted by that murder. People die of natural causes. That's very tragic. But when it's a murder, that's not natural causes. And whether it's through a knife or a gun or whatever the case may be, there's a grieving family and they want to see justice. And if justice doesn't prevail, you end up with less than a civilized society. So the people who are victims of this particular situation, if this all pans out as we suspect, if this individual didn't do anything, why would they continue with this pursuit? Why wouldn't they just stop and surrender and explain it to the officers? The fact, consciousness of guilt is part of this. You're guilty, so you're going to do everything you can to try and get away. Obviously, the run is going to come to an end real quick because you're not going to get too far at 20 plus miles an hour with an army of officers and helicopters and news people over you. It's just not going to happen. But the longer they drag it on, it just people are looking and watching and looking. But you and I have covered these many, many times. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. And this is a situation that impacts a lot of people, the family, the aunts, the uncles, the classmates. It's just a tremendous amount of impact.
Persuade
him this one here.
to turn himself
get this
in
one.
and end this peacefully.
Yeah, the tread on both front tires is gone. The back tire, we believe one of the back tires is also punctured. It still has tread. If there is one functioning tire, so be it, but maybe both are punctured. We're not quite clear yet. Nevertheless, you can see the damage on this vehicle. One is from a collision with a pickup truck when he was going the wrong way on an entrance
What's
ramp.
up, Kevin?
But the rest of the damage looks to be from that spike
Come on,
strip
Portnoy.
and the disintegrating rubber. He does try to turn. Look at that. Right towards you, Chris.
Westbound Florence, a wild left turn with no tires, and he just randomly made a left turn on Florence. I should tell you, we may actually lose sight of him now because unfortunately we were in the process of transitioning through LAX's airspace. The control tower was nice enough to allow us to follow Main Street northbound along the 110 freeway, and we were able to catch up. But now, unfortunately, we're going to start pulling away from him here as he ventures back into the Bravo airspace towards the airport, and that's gonna inhibit our ability here in just a second. Unfortunately, he made that turn. This is going to give us a real problem here. He's going to disappear behind these buildings. LAPD fortunately able to make that turn with him. We're listening to the radio to see if they have any luck, but a random turn there at the very last second, making a turn off of Main Street onto Florence and getting closer now to the 110 freeway. It looks like he's underneath the 110 freeway, underneath the Harbor Freeway, coming out the other side. And that is going to put him Oh, look at this! Getting back on the freeway.
Oh,
he might
boy.
He might be getting back on the freeway. That's not
Unbelievable.
an entrance ramp, but it's going to. Yeah, that's this northbound flower, which runs parallel to the 110 freeway here. But he will eventually run into a entrance ramp that will put him onto the freeway if he decides to take it. So look at him; he's coming up southbound on Florence, and now potentially. You have to wonder why he's making these turns. Is he deciding that maybe he's approaching the on-ramp here? So maybe this is just a game of cat and mouse for him at this point. I was going to say maybe he's got an idea of where he wants to go, but it almost looks, you see the on-ramp right there in the middle of your screen, and it looks like he is going to take it. We will see here if LA.
At this point, with him having like the tires are blown out, he's going 20 miles an hour. Just go get him. I mean, again, maybe, I don't know. Did they say that there might be somebody in the vehicle with him though? So
along the 110 freeway, and once again, he's put himself in a position where he's in even thicker traffic. I mean, we're further into the rush hour than we were earlier, and you can see a much bigger backup on the southbound side of the 110 freeway. I presume he'll make his way over to those express lanes again, but he's not going to go very fast because we know
that truck doing something. Look at the truck. Look at the truck.
Those rims are on borrowed time. It appeared that the rear tires were.
Look at the truck.
Well. Look at this. Look at this. This truck is trying to get in the way, trying to get him to stop. Or we thought. It appeared that way anyway.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, now it looks like he's decided to get off the freeway again. So now LAPD getting on that exit ramp, getting back onto Manchester Avenue.
Truck drivers, man, when they find out,
as though he's making this up as he goes along here. But now we are westbound on Manchester Avenue, and we will see if he comes up through this intersection, decides to maybe either make a U-turn or continues westbound. I do not see him yet. He's going to be behind the tree right there, and it looks like he is making a turn. Making a now eastbound turn on 84th, LAPD right behind him here, now going underneath the freeway once again. And if the game of cat and mouse continues, he may very well get back on the freeway where he has been most comfortable during most of this pursuit, but actually looks like he's going to continue eastbound. So eastbound on 84th, I believe, coming up on Broadway, and almost looks, if you notice that, guys, it almost looks like he's able to pick up a little bit of speed there. The way he went through that intersection, he's going through a residential neighborhood now. LAPD right behind him as he continues eastbound on 84th.
Yeah, hard to see him from this view now, but we hear from law enforcement officers that pursuit suspects will often return to the neighborhoods that they're most comfortable with, that they're most familiar with. So maybe that is what we're seeing here.
Is that him? Oh, snap.
I think I said 84th. It actually appears that he is still on Manchester. So he's eastbound
He's going the wrong way.
And LAPD now managing another vehicle that's trying to get involved in this pursuit. So they've got another complicating
Oh, wait,
factor
that's
here.
another
Not sure
person.
what the relationship is here, but there's another vehicle that is attempting to follow. We have multiple reports of that now as he makes a northbound turn onto Main Street off of Manchester. If you notice, guys, he's now done a complete circle here in South LA. So he is definitely making it up as he goes along, maybe providing an opportunity for potentially another spike attempt.
That was earlier? Okay.
But, at this point, guys, I think they've had several opportunities if they were going to give a go-ahead for that pit maneuver. And the fact that we have not seen it yet tells me they have made the decision that it might be too dangerous with whatever information they're working with, because I think we would have seen it already. And under these circumstances, the fact that we haven't tells me they may be just looking to continue the course here without a pit maneuver. So he is now on the east side of the 110 freeway, northbound on Main Street, north of Manchester. We have been here before. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has actually been right along this stretch of Main Street twice already. So this might be the third time that he's driven through this neighborhood right along Main Street.
I was saying earlier that sometimes pursuit suspects will return to areas that they're familiar with, neighborhoods that they're familiar with. Maybe that's what we're seeing here. And it's such a tricky tricky balancing act, really, for law enforcement. They have to obviously stay on top of this suspect. He's wanted for murder. That's what we know. We don't have any details, but they also have to keep the public safe. So it's very difficult for them to balance the two. And time is on their side. They can continue following him at slow speeds for a while.
Hopefully get him fatigued to where he just grows tired of this and decides to give up.
Yeah, at some point he will get tired, or the vehicle will run out of gas. One or the other, or another mechanical issue, considering the condition of the vehicle. The other obstacle that they are working with, or the other factor, I should say, is that you have people in the neighborhood who are attempting occasionally to get involved here, and that really complicates things at the end of the pursuit, because at some point they're going to pull their weapon on the suspect to make sure that that he cooperates, and they don't want to have to use force. But in the event that there is a crossfire situation, they can't afford to have anybody else in their way with cell phone cameras waving the suspect on. So now he has made another turn here from northbound Main. He's now going eastbound on 71st Street, still crawling along here, doing about 25, 30 miles per hour as LAPD continues to make their way eastbound with him here. He is just kind of taking them along for a joyride at this point, enjoying his final moments of freedom.
All right, and we will continue to watch this pursuit. Eventually, if we can get this to come to an end, it's important because this is a murder suspect. We can't emphasize that enough. This is a very important pursuit that's going on right now, trying to get this guy off the streets as he is barely moving along in a vehicle that has no tread.
It's turning once again.
Taking another turn there, Chris, weaving his way through this neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. And that poses a real danger too, because if you notice, these are narrow residential streets. So again, these are all factors that obviously LAPD has dealt with many hundreds of times. They're well trained, but it does complicate factors nonetheless. When you have these narrow streets in a residential neighborhood, that's why we always say we would much rather see a dangerous pursuit on the freeway as opposed to a narrow residential area, because we just don't know what the suspect is capable of. And we've already seen him making several desperate attempts, including putting the public at danger. Other motorists have been at risk during the course of this pursuit, even in head-on situations. He's already been in a collision. They have all that information. They know that he is desperate to get away. Now going through a red light here. He's going to be southbound on Avalon through 71st Street. And again, continuing to zigzag through southeast Los Angeles here at about 25 miles per hour with an unknown amount of gas in the tank.
That's a good point. That could go on for quite some time. I was leading to the fact that there is a lot of news going on today, including some weather news this afternoon.
Talk about President Trump's Truth Social post.
Desert in the Inland
Talk
Empire
about
that we would
that
love
news.
to get to eventually. We have another helicopter out in that area that is covering the weather. But of course, we want to see this come to a conclusion because this is a dangerous pursuit and this suspect will not give up. Nevertheless, law enforcement is taking it seriously and they are content on, at least so far, Chris, to see this guy just meander through the streets until he decides to give up.
So the rules about the police chase are they're awesome. They're exciting as long as no one gets hurt. That's really, except for the person, like the person that they're chasing, like they can be hurt, but I don't want to see anyone else hurt. But like, this is the only reality TV left.
Just trying to weave through some of the intersections. Occasionally, he'll go right through the red light. He'll swerve around into oncoming lanes like he is right here, getting right back on the right side here, and just taking these officers along for the ride. But the fact of the matter is, it is not a normal suspect behind the wheel. It is a murder suspect who is presumed, or suspected, I should say, of taking the life of somebody. And so just the behavior that we've seen during this pursuit, the crime that has been committed here, the original one, the other crimes that are associated with him, it is a dangerous situation to say the least, and it's not over until it's over. They don't know what they're going to be dealing with when he eventually comes to a stop. If he's desperate enough, they will be prepared for any situation. But
if he's dangerous, why don't they do something about it? I mean, look, you don't want to escalate a situation right now. You're in a heavily populated area. You've got people all around. This is from what I understand, it's a murder. He's wanted for murder. He probably has a weapon, even though I don't know if he read any of the signs that you're not supposed to have guns in this area. Because, usually Democrats believe if you put up a sign that the criminals are going to be like, oh, there's a sign here, I can't have a gun. So this is the proper way to handle it. I get why they're doing the way they're doing.
What they don't realize, and it is a dangerous person, to say the least.
At least he's stopping there at that intersection on a very busy street and letting some of the traffic go by and law enforcement patiently watching him.
If you want me to tell you how, right now, I could get this situation taken care of immediately. I would just call in to dispatch and I would be like, hey, dispatch, he has a MAGA hat. Oh, they will take him out right there. He's in California and he's got a MAGA hat. Get rid of this guy. Take him out. He's dangerous.
Right now, you see it going at a very slow pace, but that is for very specific reasons. If this guy had the ability, he would definitely try to get away as quickly as possible in a very dangerous way, which we have been seeing. Chris, you're on the move again.
We are on the move. We've now been given clearance to transition southbound and hopefully meet up with him on the other side here as we transition over the 110 freeway. We're going to lose a visual here for a couple of minutes. The hope is that he either comes to a stop or continues in this direction, because obviously navigating LAX airspace is complicated and is a little bit tricky. So we're going to lose him for a little bit here. But what I can tell you is that as he continues the pattern that he's established, which involves a number of loops through this part of town, whether he continues the circle or if he continues southbound on Main Street, they have asked for another spike strip. So if they have the opportunity, if the pattern continues, they will make another attempt at spiking those rear tires if they have not deflated already. And based on the ability to maintain control of the vehicle, I'm guessing that those rear tires are still doing a bulk of the work there. And so for that reason, they want to make sure they knock out all four tires. We know that the front two are gone. He's already riding on two rims. Now they want to attack that rear axle and make sure that they've done everything they could. And now I understand that the spike strip has been laid down. We'll see if he hits it. We may not be able to show it right away, but as we come around on the other side, we'll be able to kind of line up with him on Main Street. So he's going down Main Street. We're traveling down the 110 freeway. When we get to the 105 freeway, we'll be able to cross over and hopefully see him coming southbound towards us as he continues. Now, if he continues southbound, that's one thing I'm hearing on the radio. He may have just made a westbound turn, possibly on Century, so we may have a glimpse of him coming towards us here as we transition through LAX's Bravo airspace. Just kind of keep an eye out for him, Josh, as we come up on Century. We may see him coming towards us if we get lucky here.
All right, and as we begin Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock now, the voice of Michelle Fisher, I'm joining David Ono as we continue to keep an eye on this wild pursuit that's been going on for about an hour now. I was in my office getting ready for the show, watching the coverage that's been ongoing, and just remarkable to see how at one point this vehicle was making these wild maneuvers and has now kind of been forced to slow down because of the condition of the vehicle. As you mentioned, we know at least two of those tires completely gone now. He's riding on rims for some time. And as you mentioned, maybe a second attempt at a spike strip to get the back tires disabled to hopefully eventually get this driver who is suspected of murder to stop at some point. You have to ask yourself, what is the goal here, after a certain point?
I think the goal is for this to end peacefully, and whatever that takes is what it takes. As Chris... Chris is maneuvering. That is the live picture on the left-hand side. He's moving around some LAX restrictions. What you see on the right-hand side is some of the video that we shot during this pursuit. This pursuit has two very different personalities, very dangerous on the right-hand side, where he was flying down the freeway, sometimes in excess of 100 miles per hour. There you see it, and police right behind him. Then, with his maneuvering, you'll see him as he
that's
sways
earlier. I
from
fell
one
for
lane
it,
to
but this
another,
was
and
earlier.
eventually he will get off the freeway, but as you can see, paying no attention to the close traffic. Here is where he goes the wrong way on an entrance ramp, and this is where you start to see, Michelle, where he endured some damage. He squeezed by these 18-wheelers, but it's right here where there is a pickup truck that he's going to try to squeeze between, and boom, he hits his back bumper. That's what rocks his...
Spike strip. Look at the spike strip. He's going around the spike. I'm
Yep.
sorry to interrupt you there, David.
Go right ahead.
LAPD officer
Full
laying
screen it.
down a
Full
spike
screen it.
strip on Avalon Boulevard, agitating the suspect a little bit as he swerved right around, unfortunately missing that spike attempt on the rear wheels. I apologize, David. I know
No, take it.
you
That's
were
great.
recapping there, but we saw that spike strip laid down, and he almost struck it, but he was able, because of the slow speed here, he was able to kind of navigate around it. So we have picked it up once again, as you can see here, as he continues coming towards us. He's now going southbound on Avalon. He shifted over a block from Main Street, and he's now coming up on 116th towards the 105 freeway. In fact, now crossing Imperial Highway underneath the 105 freeway and coming out the other side here just south of the 105 freeway, David.
Yeah, so that spike strip was unsuccessful. But look at this spike strip. This is where everything changed. He was on the 91, and he hit it right there. That was a little bit late on the video, so you couldn't quite see the setup there. But they had stopped. CHP was successful in stopping all the traffic on the 91, forcing him to go up on the shoulder. And on the shoulder of the road is where that spike strip was laid out, and he went right down the shoulder over the spike strip, and almost immediately you see those front tires deflate, and minutes later you see the rubber come off. That is on the passenger side. The driver's side rubber had already come off, and so now he's dealing with metal on the asphalt on the front, at least. I thought the back tires were punctured, but it looks like they are not. That's a great shot right there, Chris, that you could get a clear shot of not only the driver, but the fact that those back tires are still inflated.
Yeah, especially that left rear fully inflated. Unbelievable to see that front left rim still almost intact, despite the amount of distance he's covered just driving on those rims. That rim is intact. I would almost expect by now that we would have seen it start to fall apart, see metal flying off, and see those sparks kind of.
Oh, he's slamming on brakes. He's slamming on brakes.
Happening. That rim. Look at him gesturing towards the ice cream truck as he tries to put some distance between that primary unit here. You saw he was wearing some AirPods in his ear as we caught a glimpse through the driver's side window there. But now going back, I believe underneath the 105 freeway. Now going northbound on San Pedro. Northbound San Pedro Street, back in the opposite direction, just past the 105 now, and he has done yet another loop after evading a second spike strip attempt. Unfortunately, he was able to navigate around it, so those rear tires that appeared to be well inflated.
We'll find out tonight how bad the Dolphins are. Game's going to start here soon. I got to jump over to locals as soon as this ends.
The first spike strip, really, though, has been that it has forced him to slow down significantly. And he is still driving, of course, as we're seeing, but, not doing a lot of the dangerous maneuvers, weaving in and out of traffic as much, high speed.
Yeah, we're doing Halloween Horror Nights this year. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
So that is... the beauty in what they were able to do in terms of disabling some of this vehicle. I'm just shocked that the rear bumper is still hanging on there.
Thank you, Lapco.
And that thing is hanging on by
Basket City, thank you.
By the way, you saw just a moment
Kevin,
ago,
thank you for the 50. I'm not highlighting it.
Saw
Brian,
another
tagged you
officer.
on.
It appeared that there was another LAPD officer setting up for another spike strip. Didn't quite have enough time, but he was able to go and make that turn anyways. Made a westbound turn, and is now on Main Street, northbound on Main Street, parallel with the 110 freeway, continuing at about the same speed past 112th. And, for a good amount of time now, we have been on these surface streets. Here comes another spike strip attempt. He goes right around that one as well. These officers doing a great job.
Let's get this guy taken care of. The game's about to start, guys.
Because of these slow speeds, it gives him a little more time to prepare as well. So they kind of have an idea as he establishes this pattern. There are now LAPD units flooding this neighborhood, prepared for these
I
turns
did.
almost.
I saw the
as they
video. Or
try
I
and
heard
lay
about
down
what
a
Punk
spike strip
said.
to bring those
CM Punk is
rear
a
wheels
left-wing
to
cuck.
heel. And right
He
now,
just
they
absolutely
just haven't
is.
had much luck with those rear tires, but he is running low on fuel. We have to presume at this point that this vehicle is on borrowed
Yeah,
time. You see
TMZ.
smoke
Where
coming
you
from
at?
underneath the vehicle. Those rims are getting very hot. If he continues braking, they're going to get very hot, and it's going to eventually give up on him. And as you mentioned, even that bumper, just hard to believe. It's hanging on by maybe one bolt at this point and still being dragged along Main Street as he continues northbound after doing several circles through South LA.
Him staying in the middle of these lanes allows him to see what is on the side. If he were tucked up against the right-hand side, perhaps officers would have a little bit better luck, but he knows that if he stays towards the middle, he can see who's on the right and who's on the left and react to it. In fact, we have video of that second spike strip attempt. Watch closely here, and he is coming up. There is a LAPD officer. He pulls a spike strip, and he takes a really hard turn. He almost got him. Almost, but he reacted just in time, and he made a really dynamic maneuver and got around that spike strip. But they're trying
Another spike strip
another
attempt.
one. The third.
Yep.
Well, technically a fourth attempt. A fourth attempt.
It's at least the third or fourth, and again, same situation, right? He sees it. He's able to turn. In this case, he was able to go around it, and yet again, you see more people cheering him on. The longer this goes on, unfortunately, the more we start to see people try and come out and catch a glimpse, because as predictable as he's been for those officers with the spike strips, he's also been predictable enough for the folks in this neighborhood to come outside and, like I said, try and get a shot, try and post it online. But the joyride is continuing, unfortunately, just slow enough for him to evade these spike strips. It's a tough thing. You know, you would like to see him going maybe a little bit faster so he's got less time to maneuver. But the way he's been able to maneuver the vehicle without those front tires is really amazing to me. In fact, a second ago I said that is a rear wheel vehicle, but I'm being told that that's a Toyota Tercel. It's actually a front wheel drive vehicle. And so almost hard to imagine, guys, but if that's true, that means that that front axle is doing a lot of work here with no tires. It's pretty remarkable that that it's gone on this long. You know, just a couple of nights ago, we followed a pursuit that was well over an hour long in a GMC truck that was riding on rims well into our 11 o'clock show, and then the wheels just came off. I mean, literally, the rims started falling apart. We saw chunks of metal just falling off the vehicle.
I like CM Punk as a wrestler back in the day, but he sucks now.
Toyota.
Phil Brooks is a terrible person.
You know, from the last good shot we had of those front rims, they looked almost intact. And here comes, look at that, somebody, a pedestrian throwing garbage at the front of the vehicle, slowing them down a little bit. Here comes another LAPD officer with spike strips. He's not going to try to get around that. They didn't even lay it down. But now he's trying to go through this red light, weaving all over the road. This is going to start to do damage, I think. I think part of the reason those rims are intact is because he's been going in
Y'all need to take this guy out.
That vehicle, just remarkable, like I said, that it's still going on like this. Really, really crazy, but a good thing. I mean, thankfully that he's going as slow as he is, because we know that the person behind the wheel would be so much more dangerous had they not executed that first spike strip so well, so perfectly, really changing the dynamic of this entire pursuit, despite the fact that it's gone on as long as it has. But I have to reiterate, there's a reason we have not seen them employ a pit maneuver. They have made a conscious decision not to pit this guy, and that has most likely something to do with the information that they have on the suspect.
Yeah, we don't know if this suspect is armed or not. We know that it's a murder suspect, but we don't know if they have a firearm or what they have in the vehicle with them. So that would be, you know, an increased danger to officers to try to do, you know, a pit maneuver and anything could happen after that. So a great point, Chris, to bring up in terms of why we haven't seen that, in case our viewers are wondering why officers don't try to just get in front of him and stop him that way.
Yeah, and all of those tactics, like I said earlier, they vary from agency to agency, but they are very well calculated, and they train for this obviously all the time, both in the real world and on pursuit tracks that they have at the academy, and they are ready for any and all scenarios. We've just seen this so many times. We have multiple pursuits a day here in Los Angeles, and so this is something that they are used
I need
to.
to
It's
take
just
this
a little
dude
bit
out, man.
unusual that we see it go on this long, and that's because of the
Like I don't know why they wouldn't just collapse on him, but again, maybe because they think that he has a gun. I do understand that, but at this point in time, they should get police vehicles ahead of him. This is gonna be bad right here. Oh no, they should get police vehicles ahead of him, and then they should fan out and just collapse on him. Do the cops have guns too? No. This is California. The cops have pepper spray in California. Criminals have guns. Cops have pepper spray. That's Gavin Newsom's rule.
an hour now, and you can see LAPD again flooding this neighborhood with units ready for a felony stop, ready with spike strips if the opportunity allows, and ready to protect the public on either end of the street once he pulls over or stops the vehicle in between two intersections.
They get whistles.
They will stop traffic at some point. When it comes to a stop, he's now making his way underneath the 110 freeway, back on the other side here, up Flower, making a westbound turn off of northbound Flower, and that may be, he's going to be either at 81st or 82nd Street, now heading towards Fig. Again, these are all streets, guys, that we have been on already. He's covered a lot of the same territory over and over again. So if some of these streets look familiar, trust your instincts. We've been here before. He has navigated these streets just in the last hour and is starting to repeat.
I did hear him say that.
Just kind of makes up these maneuvers as the afternoon rolls on here. Again, paralleling the 110 freeway, now southbound on Figueroa Street.
As he's coming right towards you now, Chris, yeah, this does seem to be his familiar neighborhood, as we always see. He found his way back here. He's staying here now that he is on these streets and taking almost a circular motion or a square around this neighborhood, going back and forth up and down these streets. I think the fact that the LAPD tried so many spike strips, it shows that they do or would like to see this come to an end, and they're trying to push it to that conclusion. And I guess knocking out those back two tires would be a choice thing to do to get him to be unable to accelerate or maneuver any further, and perhaps convince him to give up peacefully.
And I'm getting some more intel from some of our car enthusiasts that this is actually not a Tercel. It's a Toyota Corolla hatchback that is probably an all-wheel drive. If I'm not mistaken, I think it comes in all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, or perhaps just all-wheel drive. But that starts to explain why this is still going on and why he's able to navigate and maintain control of this car. It is because it is a capable compact sports car. It's an older model Corolla, I believe, but an all-wheel drive one possibly nonetheless, that is really giving this car the endurance it takes to ride it out, again, without tires on the
Toyota
front.
commercial.
And still blown away by the endurance of this car. But as you can see, we're doing another circle here through South LA, now making a turn off of Hoover and thinking twice about it. Another random last-minute turn, now committing to Hoover, coming southbound past 88th Street. You can see all of those lights and sirens right behind him. All
Mario
of the
Kart stream at 50cc.
Stopped at the red light there, and once again, he's coming towards us. Now another block over to the west, down Hoover Street in this Toyota Corolla.
And we also had mentioned a bit earlier, too, it's not only the endurance and how long this has been going on without those front tires, but even, the left and right turns that he's making. I mean, you have to imagine that on the asphalt and concrete there, as he's making those turns with metal on metal, that would have an impact on the vehicle too. But we haven't seen it impacted much, which is just mind blowing to all of us.
Yeah, the brakes are hanging in there. It's interesting, Chris and Michelle, that we've learned so much about vehicles by covering pursuits. We see ones that some vehicles perform incredibly well, others are exceptionally clunky. Unfortunately, this is a well-made vehicle that seems to be able to just
you guys are getting paid off by Toyota now.
It is severely handicapped, but it doesn't stop him. And in the past, Chris, we mentioned this in the last hour.
It's a well-made vehicle, guys. He wouldn't be able to be running from the police and putting people in danger if it wasn't for this well-made Toyota.
The car catches on fire. We haven't seen sparks on this vehicle just yet, although it does look like
because it's a Toyota and it's well built,
starting to flop around there somewhat.
Might get a Corolla now.
We had a little bit of distance, so we haven't really gotten a close look at the bumper in a while, but it does look like it's either close to falling off or maybe even off. It looks like we'll see here as he makes the turn. Yeah, now it's just hanging by a thread there. So still dangling, but just barely. And it certainly appears that, obviously with this all-wheel drive vehicle, he's able to maneuver it with those rear wheels doing a bulk of the work. But again, those rims are still spinning. They are still basically intact because he's not really going fast enough, although you can imagine just how hot they're getting. And that's why we occasionally see a little bit of smoke coming from underneath the vehicle. But now he's going back towards Figueroa. Look at this, picking up steam actually a little bit as he makes a wild last-minute turn northbound now on Fig Street, doing yet another circle back underneath the 110 freeway, and now northbound on Figueroa. All of those LAPD cruisers absolutely comfortably able to keep up with them here. Here comes another spike. Two officers with spike attempts, almost throwing it. Look at that. I think he dragged the spike. I think he dragged that spike with the rear wheel. That may have the desired effect. If that rear wheel got caught on the spike strip, one of those officers, you saw two spike strips laid down there, and one of them, I think, got caught under the rear wheel, and he might even be dragging it. We'll have a little bit of
it's not.
clarity here in just a second. He may have left it behind, but I think it made contact. And it was now, look at this. He's coming very close. Another close call with another motorist here going around traffic southbound on Flower, coming towards us once again, right along the 110 freeway here. He is definitely animated now as he tries to figure out his next move. We're seeing a lot more turns, a lot more aggressive behavior behind the wheel as each and every one of these spike strip attempts kind of gets his adrenaline going once again. Now underneath the 110 freeway, I thought maybe he might even think about getting back on the 110 freeway, but he's obviously familiar with LA rush hour traffic and is not willing to get involved in that mess again. So he's going to stay on surface streets and once again continuing this circle around South LA. And look at that. It does look, I can't say for sure, guys.
Hey, maybe he does have the spike strip. Maybe he does on the bumper.
I think he is still dragging that spike strip on the left
it's hard to tell
corner of that vehicle.
Wow. That is something that I haven't seen before, but that was quite the effort.
People on the road, all these other
officer
illegals out there cheering him on.
Spike strip towards him as he was trying to maneuver away from them. And if he was successful, then maybe at least that driver's side back tire might be deflating. Hopefully it is. And it does seem to be a little bit more difficult for him to maneuver the vehicle. Maybe it's just me, making that up, but it does seem to be a little bit more difficult for him to make these turns now.
Yeah, it almost.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looks like to me, it almost looks like it's had no effect, to be quite honest.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he is just zigzagging his way through now, and it almost appears to me that he's going a little bit faster. So he's probably going as fast as it'll let him go, but it just does not seem to be here. He's another truck backing up here as he navigates a narrow residential street, but the mobility of that car does not appear to be affected by this. For the first time, it almost looks like he's coming to a stop.
Cops are getting out. Cops are getting out.
With their door open as the vehicle appears to have come to a stop.
We don't have a shot.
They have officers in
They
front
blocked
of
him in.
and officers behind him. He does not have anywhere to go here at the intersection of Main Street and 92nd.
Chopper,
It
fly.
has now come to a stop.
Fly.
Officers with their guns drawn out of their vehicles. We do not have good eyes on the suspect, but you can see that officer right there on the left-hand corner of your screen, left-hand side of your screen, rather, now instructing that suspect to get out of the vehicle, and we will see if he cooperates here momentarily. You can see there was
Ultimate
an
blue
LAPD
balls moment
officer
right
waiting
here.
at the other end of that
No
street,
payoff.
and that was enough
No
for him to
payoff.
bring the vehicle to a stop. Maybe even setting up for another spike strip there had he continued through. But in any event, it looks like he's blocking the entire roadway. That's a very narrow residential street. That's 92nd Street off of Main. And it looks like the driver is still in the vehicle. You can now see behind that light pole, the vehicle has indeed come to a stop. It looks like this pursuit is coming to an end, but as we said earlier, and as we always say, it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, how is this going to come to an end? And clearly he is still in the vehicle. It doesn't appear that he is cooperating at all, but at least he's come to a stop. And this is where, Chris, we have been saying it could get really tricky, depending on whether he has a weapon or not. And also, the police officers know that this is
illegal.
a murder suspect. He is considered a dangerous person. So how they handle that could be due to what they know about him. And as you said, they may have more information that we don't know when it comes to how they apprehend him and how they handle him.
Absolutely. In fact, what they are not going to do in this situation, we can say almost with certainty, they will not approach that vehicle because of the crime here. Now, it almost looks.
Yes, I am going to be streaming Sunday. I'm streaming Sunday.
We will see how he behaves. What will not happen, what I was about to say, is that they will not approach him until he shows signs of cooperating with them. They will not tackle him. They will form a perimeter, and if he decides to run for it, they'll be ready at every
You're not wrong.
juncture here.
Oh,
but
there
in
he
any
is.
event, it looks like he is putting his hands
He
up.
gave
in the air.
up.
He understands that time is up, and this pursuit is now over. He steps out of the
This
vehicle,
is accurate, Candy
stepping
T.
away from that Toyota with his hands up in the air, clearly visible as the suspect cooperates with those LAPD units. They will now treat this very carefully as they place him under arrest after
Deport.
a lengthy pursuit, both high speed and low speed. This pursuit has had it all, and it looks like he is showing them his waistband, making it clear that he does not have a weapon in his waistband, throwing off his baseball cap, and now giving up about as peacefully as you could possibly expect. They will approach him here momentarily, or they will ask him to walk backwards. We'll see.
Touchdown Dolphins, baby.
Here,
Touchdown Dolphins, open and drive.
The suspect now appears
Let's
to
go.
be cooperating.
There's a lot going on right now.
Several miles away. That explains the shaky shot here. But you can see there are people in their backyards trying to catch a glimpse of what's going on, either watching it on their phones or hearing about it on the radio, and now trying to see what all the commotion's about here. And that is really the worst nightmare for law enforcement. Look at them approaching the vehicle. They're making sure the vehicle is clear, even with the suspect, as he is now on his knees. They now make sure that he was the only one inside that vehicle. And now approaching him with an arrest team, with his hands on his head, handcuffs being placed on the suspect. And this pursuit is officially over.
All right. Well, that was it had exciting moments, but it was pretty, meh for the most part. I like this. Candy T says, Candace, how would you describe CobraCast? Well, sometimes we watch politics, sometimes pop culture, sometimes we watch Jeremy Reed and laugh at his tweets, and sometimes we watch car chases. That's pretty much it right there. So Charlie says, what happens when your show sucks so bad, Don Lemon? Exactly. Elwing says, no worries. He will be back in the community in 2 hours. Yep. Tim Osley says, anyone have a live look at Team Z? Are they cheering and laughing at this? We know how much they love police chases. Yep. Shannon says, already own a Corolla, so stop trying to sell me another one. River Miles for 50 says, I'm not watching on my phone or, I'm not watching on my phone or on mainstream media. I'm watching on CobraCast 199 scan in. Thank you, River Miles. I'm about to join the crew over here on Locals. If you are not a member of the Geeks and Gamers Locals community, you can go sign up for that right now. It's in the pinned post. And you'll be seeing memes flying in the chat over there. It's the chat is pretty entertaining. So we will be watching the game live with our Locals supporters. Locals 5 to be exact. Ministry of Ron thinks says high speed and low speed. This pursuit had it all. boy, shut the F up. OMG, this guy. All right. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you want to come hang out with us over there while we're watching this, you can. And I would appreciate seeing all of you over there in the chat, talking shit with us and having fun. But thank you guys so much. Link is in the pinned post if you want to join the local stream with us. And we're always reacting to stuff over there and having fun and hanging out. So you guys have a good evening and make sure I got everything. And we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. No, thank you. Bye.